She's mine. Every curve, every sigh, every secret thought in that beautiful head belongs to me alone. Avery Sinclair and Damien Sterling were bound by a marriage of convenience, an arranged engagement between two powerful New York dynasties that hit the headlines the very same day. Social media exploded with playful comments. Congratulations to the rich finally tying the knot. Jokes about how even billionaires found their perfect match. Little did the world know that beneath the polished surface of this union lay years of hidden longing. They had been childhood sweethearts in secret, rivals on the outside, but quietly, desperately in love with each other all along. Avery had only been part of the family empire for less than a year when her father orchestrated the alliance to strengthen their already intertwined business empires. Hotels on her side, towering real estate developments on his. Together they dominated the city skyline. She understood the game. Money and power always came first. But did it have to be Damien Sterling, of all people? The possessive alpha male who had tormented her since they were kids? She voiced a quiet protest, but her father simply slid thick stacks of merger contracts across the desk. Their commercial territories were already fused too tightly to untangle. There was no swapping him out. Damien was undeniably breathtaking, the ultimate standard of handsome among the elite second generation. Tall, broad-shouldered, with sharp features that could stop traffic. Yet from the moment they met, they had been enemies, constantly clashing. The thought of spending the rest of her life with this grumpy, teasing billionaire CEO made her stomach twist. She even suggested another family alliance, mentioning a distinguished older heir with refined manners. But her father shut it down instantly. Too large an age gap. Unacceptable. Faced with an ultimatum, marry Damien or forfeit her inheritance and leave with nothing, Avery relented. She was, after all, a grown woman in this cutthroat world of luxury and legacy. They had grown up in the same exclusive circles, attending the same private academy where the children of the ultra-wealthy mingled. Damien always claimed first place in every exam, Avery a close second. Teachers seated them together to motivate each other, but it only fueled their rivalry. She was fiercely competitive, and he effortlessly outshone her every time. She once demanded to borrow his summer homework, only for him to vanish to play sports and leave her covering for him. He'd tug her ponytail in class, flash a wicked half-smile, and slide forbidden romance novels across the desk when she was buried in math problems. How could someone so effortlessly brilliant still dominate without even trying? On the walk home under golden sunsets, his long shadow stretched ahead as he strolled with one hand in his pocket. He'd glance back and murmur talent when she grumbled about his unfair advantage. It infuriated her, yet something about his cool confidence drew her in deeper than she ever admitted. Their engagement party was an extravagant spectacle held in a sprawling Manhattan penthouse overlooking Central Park. Crystal chandeliers glittered above Van Cleef and Arpels jewels on every wrist, Cartier watches flashing under the lights. Celebrities, politicians, and fellow billionaires filled the rooms while private staff circulated with vintage champagne. The news dominated trending lists overnight. Netizens swooning over how perfectly matched they looked, how romance novels had come to life among the elite. She's mine to protect, mine to ruin, mine to keep forever. No one else will ever touch what belongs to me. Later that evening, in the quiet luxury of Damien's towering penthouse, Avery caught sight of him descending the grand marble staircase. He wore a tailored black suit that hugged his powerful frame, exuding cold, aristocratic dominance. His eyes locked on her with an intensity that made her breath catch. Without a word, he closed the distance, lifted her effortlessly, and settled her on his lap as he sat on a plush velvet sofa. The sudden intimacy sent heat rushing through her. His face drew near, that familiar faint smirk playing on his lips as he teased her about staring too hard. She denied it furiously, cheeks burning, but he only captured her hand in his larger one, holding it firmly against his chest. The next day marked the true beginning of their merged lives. The joint venture, a multi-billion-dollar development in the city's prime district, required them both at the new company headquarters. Avery was promoted swiftly to strategic director, her engagement to the billionaire CEO making casual office friendships impossible. Colleagues kept a respectful distance, conversations laced with careful propriety. Lunchtime often found her alone until Damien summoned her to his top-floor executive suite. The sprawling office featured floor-to-ceiling windows with panoramic views of the skyline, sleek Italian leather furniture, and a private dining area where staff delivered gourmet meals prepared exclusively to her tastes. Tomato-braised dishes, delicate soups, everything she loved. He insisted she eat with him, his possessive gaze tracking her every move. One afternoon, when Damien was tied up in endless meetings, his charming but notorious cousin, vice president of the company and notorious playboy, invited Avery to lunch instead. They laughed easily as they left the building together, old familiarity sparking between them. Moments later, Damien's call came, his voice deceptively calm but edged with steel. He demanded she return to his office immediately. The moment she stepped inside, the air felt charged with his low-pressure fury. He removed his gold-rimmed glasses, pinched the bridge of his nose, and fixed her with a dark stare. Jealousy simmered beneath his controlled exterior. He hated seeing her with any other man, especially family. He reminded her sharply of their engagement, of appearances, though the truth was far more primal. Touch her and die. Lunch waited on his desk, prepared just for her. Yet before she could dig in, he swatted her chopsticks away with a large palm, ordering her to wash her hands first. His tone was stern, almost punitive, but the way he rolled up his sleeves revealed strong forearms that made her pulse race. As she ate hungrily under his watchful eyes, he reached out to ruffle her hair with unexpected tenderness, then added in a low growl that she should keep distance from all men, not just his cousin. She's my little wife, my good girl, and I'll punish anyone who forgets it. That same day, noticing a slight cough, Avery grew concerned. Despite his denials, she stood on tiptoe to check his temperature, her palms sliding from forehead to cheek. His skin grew hotter beneath her touch, but not from fever. When she pressed her hand over his heart, feeling the thunderous beat, he confessed in a husky whisper that the only ailment he suffered was her. How she made his blood burn and his mind go blank. Their gazes locked, heat building until she fled the room in flustered panic, her own heart pounding wildly. Years of secret pining had shaped them both. Damien had always teased her mercilessly, ruining birthday cakes as kids, forcing her to carry his ridiculously light school bag just to watch her protest, promising with arrogant charm that he'd keep her if no one else wanted her short stature and shorter temper. Yet every memory now glowed with unspoken affection. She realized she had loved him for ages, terrified to confess in case he laughed it off as another prank. Evidence accumulated slowly. His phone wallpaper was their engagement photo. His laptop desktop, his lock screen, all featured her. He never saved contact details for the rumored childhood sweetheart everyone assumed was his unattainable moonlit crush. When pressed, he admitted bluntly that giving false hope to someone he didn't love would make him scum. Mine. Only mine. No one else has ever come close. To push him toward confession, Avery allowed subtle provocations, lingering near his cousin, accepting innocent invitations. Damien's jealousy erupted like a storm. In a packed boardroom, when the cousin suggested she accompany him on a site visit, Damien's icy rebuttal filled the room with tension. Later, catching them alone in an office, Damien's control snapped. One powerful punch sent his cousin to the floor, blood at the corner of his mouth. Damien seized Avery's wrist, pulling her protectively behind his broad frame. His voice lethal, "Stay away from my fiancée." In the aftermath, driving through darkened city streets in his sleek Maybach, emotions boiled over. Avery confessed the scheme, to make him jealous enough to admit his feelings. Damien pulled over abruptly, eyes blazing. He admitted he had planned a grand confession on their engagement anniversary, complete with ritual and romance because she once said she loved ceremony. Hurt and fury melted into raw passion. He dragged her onto his lap across the console, safety belt discarded, claiming her mouth in deep, punishing kisses that left her clothes disheveled and breath ragged. The luxury car rocked subtly in the private shadows, windows fogging as his dominant hands mapped her body with possessive urgency. Tearing fabric aside, pinning her against leather seats in a heated, veiled frenzy safe for any audience, yet scorching in intensity. Baby girl, you're mine to ruin tonight, and every night after. They married a month later in an even grander ceremony aboard a private yacht anchored off the Italian coast. Surrounded by manicured gardens flown in specially, strings of diamonds glittering under the stars. Damien slid a breathtaking ring onto her finger that final night of their anniversary, after she had accidentally stood him up for work, leaving him waiting alone in a candlelit restaurant. He punished her sweetly upon her return home to their sprawling estate, carrying her to the master suite, silk ties binding wrists in playful restraint, his belt discarded as he pressed her against cool marble in the opulent bathroom. Steam rising around them in a sensual, dominant dance of forgiveness and desire. Pregnant with their heir months later, Avery glowed in the luxury of their Manhattan penthouse, and weekend escapes on the private jet to European villas. Damien's obsessive protectiveness only deepened. Grumpy exterior hiding endless tenderness, jealousy flaring at any glance cast her way. She's mine. Every breath she takes belongs to me. And now, carrying my heir, she'll never escape. This dark romance, this forced marriage turned eternal obsession, is ours forever. Years of mutual secret crush blossomed into the fiercest possessive love. They were childhood enemies turned lovers, grumpy sunshine bound in luxury and passion, billionaire CEO and his submissive little wife living the ultimate dark romance fantasy.